My wife accused me of cheating to hide her own affair, screamed that she couldn't trust me, and demanded an apology. So I hired a PI, played the footage in front of her parents, filed for divorce, and walked away while she finally faced the truth she tried to bury that I never thought I'd see the day my wife, Emily, would accuse me of cheating. Not because I'm perfect, but because I'm boringly consistent. Work, gym, home. Same routine, same circle, same predictable habits. So when she suddenly exploded one night, "I can't trust you. I know you're seeing someone." I just stood there like an idiot holding a grocery bag with milk and bread. Her parents were visiting that week, staying in the guest room. They rushed out when they heard her shouting and immediately took her side, hovering around her like she was on the verge of collapse. Her mom glared at me. "What have you done to her?" I hadn't done anything. I didn't even understand what was happening. Emily pointed at me, shaking. "He's lying. I saw messages. I know he's cheating." Except she hadn't, because there were no messages. But what struck me wasn't the accusation itself. It was why she was accusing me. The overacting. The melodramatic crying that felt rehearsed. The way her father kept glancing at her like they had already talked about this before. And suddenly something clicked. She wasn't accusing me to get answers. She was accusing me to drown out something else. Something she didn't want me to notice. That night, after her parents finally shut their door, she went on another, quieter rant. "You made me feel crazy. You made me question everything. That's emotional manipulation, you know." I didn't respond. I just listened. And the next morning, while she was in the shower, I checked her location history. Not something I normally do, but after the night I'd had, I felt justified. One address stood out. A motel. Twice in the same week. Both times during hours she told me she was working late. My stomach twisted. Not because I doubted what it meant, but because somehow, I wasn't surprised. I didn't confront her. I didn't yell. Instead, I hired a private investigator that same morning and told him the address. He just nodded and said, "Give me 48 hours." Those 48 hours felt like weeks. Emily became oddly cheerful, as if her meltdown had reset the relationship. She kept hugging me randomly, being overly affectionate, and making her parents believe everything was sunshine again. But behind that, avoidance, no eye contact, flustered excuses when she left the house, changing her phone password, being gone at weird times. 2 days later, the PI texted me. "Got everything. Videos, timestamps, clear faces. You ready?" I told him yes, and I planned the moment carefully. Because if she wanted to put on a performance, I was going to give her an audience. When she came home that evening, she marched in with the confidence of someone expecting an apology. Her parents were sitting in the living room. Emily looked at me with smug irritation. "Well, aren't you going to say you're sorry for last night?" I picked up the remote, turned on the TV, pressed play, and the motel room appeared. Her, the other man. Not a kiss, not a hug. Something far more explicit. Her parents gasped. Her mother clapped a hand over her mouth. Her father stood up like someone had kicked him in the chest. Emily froze. Color drained from her face. Her voice cracked. Wait, I can explain." But I just looked at her calmly and said, "I wasn't cheating, Emily. But you were." Then I paused the video that Emily's mouth opened and closed like she was trying to reboot. Her parents just stared at the paused frame on the TV, their daughter half-dressed in a motel room with a man who definitely wasn't me. Her father finally spoke, voice trembling with disgust. "Emily, tell me this isn't you." She stepped forward, shaking her head so fast it looked painful. "Dad, please, it's not what it looks like." Her mother pointed at the screen, voice cracking. "Your eye in the video." Emily spun toward me, eyes wild and watery. "Why would you do this to me?" Like I had cheated on her. I didn't respond. I just let the silence choke the room. She grabbed the remote off the table and began clicking, desperately skipping through the footage, as if she might find a moment where she could twist the narrative. Every angle just showed more of the same. More lies, more betrayal, more proof. Her parents watched in horror as their daughter tried to scrub through her own infidelity like it was an editing mistake. After a minute, she slammed the remote down and screamed, "You set me up? You've been trying to make me look bad in front of my parents." Her father snapped, "Stop lying." Emily jumped at the volume. He rarely raised his voice. Her mother whispered, "Sweetheart, how long has this been going on?" Emily collapsed onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. "I made a mistake, okay? It was just once." The PI's time-stamped footage clearly showed many just once. Her father looked exhausted. "We defended you. We believed you. And you weaponized us against your own husband." She looked at me then, mascara streaking down her cheeks. "Why didn't you talk to me? Why would you humiliate me like this?" I took a slow breath. "Because you screamed in my face about trust while sneaking out to a motel. Because you tried to make me feel guilty for something you were doing." Her parents said nothing. They just sat, broken. Emily stood suddenly, pointing at me with shaking fingers. "You ruined my life." I nodded slightly. "No, Emily, you did that yourself." She lunged toward me like she was about to grab my phone or shove me. I'll never know, because her father stepped in front of her fast, blocking her with one hand. "Enough." His voice was ice. "You need to leave this house and give him space." Emily stared at him, stunned. Her parents had always taken her side. Until now. She sputtered, "I live here." I lifted a folder from the table and handed it to her. She blinked at it, confused, then paled as she saw the contents. A printed copy of the divorce papers, already signed on my end. Her breath caught. You already filed?" I nodded. "This morning." Her legs buckled slightly, and she grabbed the back of the couch for support. Her voice shrank to a whisper. "You're actually leaving me?" "You left me months ago," I said quietly. "You just forgot to move your body out of the house." She stared at me like I'd stabbed her. Her mom finally spoke, softly, heartbreakingly. "Emily, you need help." Emily looked between us, me, her parents, the paused motel video on the screen, and she realized something she hadn't expected. No one was on her side this time. She grabbed her bag and stormed toward the door, shouting over her shoulder, "You'll regret this. All of you." The door slammed, and the silence that followed was the most peaceful sound I'd heard in years. Update that I didn't expect peace to feel so quiet. Not triumphant, not freeing, just quiet, like someone finally turned off a machine I hadn't realized had been running in the background for years. But the quiet didn't last. 3 days after Emily stormed out, the calls began. Unknown numbers. Her parents, her sister, her childhood friend, even her boss. I didn't pick up a single one. Her father left a voicemail first, sounding defeated. "She's staying with us for now. We're trying to stabilize things. Son, take care of yourself." He called me son. It felt strange. True. Heavy. Her mother left one too. "We're sorry. We didn't know. We should have asked more questions instead of believing her without hesitation." Emily didn't call. She texted. A lot. It started with guilt trips. "You humiliated me. We could have worked through this. You're destroying our marriage because you're too proud to forgive one mistake." Then came the bargaining. "Can we talk? Please. 1 hour. I'll go to therapy. I'll do anything." Then the denial. "The PI video is fake. Deepfake tech is everywhere now. Don't be stupid." Then, when she realized I wasn't responding, the anger. "You're pathetic. You wanted this. You probably enjoyed hurting me. You think you're better than me? You'll never find someone who loves you like I did." And after that, silence. For about a week, nobody reached out, and I started to let myself breathe again. I focused on work, went to the gym more, cooked actual meals instead of stress snacks, even slept through the night for the first time in ages. Then the knock on my door. Her sister, eyes swollen, makeup smudged like she'd been crying for hours. I didn't let her in. We talked through the cracked door. "She's not okay," she said immediately. "We know she messed up, but she's falling apart. She barely leaves her room. She's not eating. She cries nonstop." I stayed quiet. She looked at me like I was withholding the antidote for something fatal. "Just talk to her. That's all she wants." I shook my head. Talking isn't going to fix what she broke. Her sister's lip trembled. "I'm not saying take her back. Just don't abandon her completely." I almost laughed at the irony. Emily abandoned me a long time ago. I'm just catching up. Her sister inhaled sharply, like I'd hit her. Then she whispered, "She told everyone you were cheating on her." That stopped me cold. She swallowed hard. She was trying to get ahead of the story. "We only learned the truth from your PI footage. It was worse than we knew." I felt my jaw tighten. Not anger, just exhaustion. So she lied to her family, lied to mine, lied to our friends, and cheated on me while screaming that I couldn't be trusted? The sister nodded, ashamed. She's spiraling. Mom and Dad don't even know how to help her. They're blaming themselves. Dad cried last night. That hit harder than I expected. But I also knew what I needed to say. I'm sorry she's hurting. Truly. But I'm not responsible for fixing her life. Not anymore. Her sister wiped her eyes. Okay, I'll tell them you said no. I nodded. Tell them I wish them peace. She walked away slowly, as if dragging the weight of the entire family behind her. That night, I got one final text from Emily. I just wanted you to love me. I stared at it for a long time. I didn't respond. Because sometimes the most painful truth is simple. Love isn't enough when one person treats it like a weapon. Final update that I didn't expect the end of my marriage to feel like grief for someone who was still alive. But that's exactly what it was. Not the grief of losing Emily. I'd lost her long before the PI footage. But the grief of losing the version of myself who kept hoping she'd come back to the relationship she'd already abandoned. The divorce was finalized last week. Quietly, efficiently, almost sterile. The judge skimmed the papers, confirmed we had no children, no contested assets, no joint accounts. Emily didn't dispute anything. She didn't even look at me. She showed up in the same gray sweater she used to wear around the house. It hung off her like she'd shrunk inside it. When the judge asked whether both parties agreed to dissolve the marriage, she whispered her yes, without lifting her eyes. No theatrics, no second chances, just a quiet end to something that used to feel like a life. Her parents didn't come. Her mother sent me a long email the night before, apologizing for everything, for believing Emily's accusations, for enabling her behavior, for not questioning the things that didn't add up. Her father wrote a single sentence. You deserve better. I'm sorry. I read that 10 times. After court, Emily stopped me in the hallway. Can we talk? Her voice was soft. Not manipulative soft. Not dramatic soft. Just tired. I nodded and followed her to a bench near the elevators. She stared at her hands for a long time before speaking. The guy from the motel? She swallowed. He blocked me. Said he never wanted anything serious. I didn't respond. My friends, most of them stopped talking to me after they found out what really happened. Still silence. My parents barely look at me. They think I'm unstable. She said it like the word tasted sour. Then she finally looked up at me. And for the first time in years, I saw the version of her that existed before the lies, before the accusations, before the spiraling chaos. A woman who was deeply, painfully lost. Why didn't you fight for us? She whispered. I let out a slow breath. Because I was the only one fighting. Her eyes filled instantly. But there was no anger this time. Just understanding, the awful kind that lands too late. She reached for my hand but stopped halfway, letting her fingers fall back to her lap. I thought if I accused you first, I wouldn't have to face what I was doing. I nodded. I already knew. But hearing her say it felt like closing a door I'd been standing in for too long. When we stood up to leave, she asked, will you ever forgive me? I thought about it longer than I expected. Maybe, I said. One day. But forgiveness doesn't mean going back. She nodded slowly, like she already knew that was the answer. We walked to opposite elevators without another word. The doors closed between us, and something in me closed too. Gently, quietly, finally. The strange thing about healing is how boring it looks from the outside. There's no triumphant moment, no cinematic epiphany, no dramatic sunrise, just small things. Sleeping through the night, cooking for one without feeling the emptiness, not checking your phone every time it buzzes, realizing a whole day passed without thinking about the betrayal. I'm not better. Not yet. I'm still rebuilding trust in myself, that I can see red flags, that I can walk away, that I'm not responsible for fixing a person who refuses to fix themselves. I started therapy. I joined a hiking group. I reconnected with friends I had pushed away while trying to manage Emily's storms. Life is quieter, but clarity tends to be quiet. Sometimes I still remember the good parts. Sometimes I still get angry about the bad ones. Sometimes I miss the future I thought we'd have. But not once, not a single time, have I wished to go back. The truth is heavy. But carrying it is easier than living inside a lie. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Some endings don't feel like victories, just the first honest step towards something healthier than what you left behind.